Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Is It Peak? Today, we are discussing the final episodes of Succession. Joining me for this special occasion is Imperfect Dan.
What's up? What's up, guys?
We also have Cinnabad.
It's me.
And Hrez.
Hey.
So, Succession, it's over. What are our thoughts on that?
Better final season than I thought.
Surely everyone was expecting it to be like a 10 out of 10 though.
Me personally, I was kind of worried about the finale after episode 9 because episode 9 was kind of setting up that stuff that we are kind of familiar with, like Ken and Shiv, like readying up their battle that's going to happen in the boardroom meeting. And I don't know, I was just a bit not worried, I guess, but more hesitant about how they're going to handle everything. But, it ended up being really good, so.
Throughout like the middle part of this season, I was just kind of coasting along, like it was fine. But then it got really good in the last 3 episodes, I think. And the finale was pretty perfect, I reckon. The finale seems to be a bit controversial with some people.
It's only controversial with Shiv fans who don't understand the show.
Shiv fans and people who need every character to have like a very clear like final endpoint.
Yeah, the ending, we'll talk about it later, but the ending was kind of weird.
Did you still rate a 10 though?
Yeah, but we've already seen scenes where Kendall just looks off to the distance thinking about killing himself like 5 times.
Yeah, but this one was extra good.
Sure.
Anyway, is there anything of note to say on episodes 4 to 7? I guess that argument scene in 7 was pretty good.
Well, the entirety of 4.
Yeah, 4 was really good. I like 4.
I don't remember a single thing from 5 and 6 already. I've already forgotten them. Wait, no, 5 was when they went to Skarsgård Land. That was all right. Episode 6 was definitely the least good episode, though.
No,
that was killing.
Was episode 6 the AI?
The Logan recording. The retreat was the weakest episode.
No, I thought the retreat was better.
No, I won't say I didn't like it, but it was definitely a noticeable drop in quality coming from episode
I'm telling you,
4.
it's the weakest one, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
Well, and
definitely
also, I can't really remember episode 1 that much, so maybe that one's the least good.
What happened in episode 7?
Episode 7 was the party at Tom and Shiv's place,
Oh,
Yeah, the
that
argument
was-
scene.
where he was getting the only notable scene.
That was awesome, though. That was really awesome. And then when Kendall and Lucas were just like being all fake friendly and like, "Oh, my numbers are gay" or something like that.
He's like, that's
you know?
kind of
Yeah, that shit
homophobic,
was-
man.
I think that we're just gonna see discourse about those 4 episodes like the same way that everyone was like, "Oh, the middle of season 3 is kind of boring" and stuff like that. We're just gonna
'Cause
see
it
people
was.
switch up on that. Like those episodes, besides episode season 4, episode 5, they were really packed and really great, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect it to be full-on, like, crazy shit for the entire season. Like, it makes sense for the middle to be the less epic.
I guess if I had to say anything, I would say like maybe they're not boring or anything, but they do kind of rely on that one big thing at the end, like an argument or a realization or something. Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe that's just something you start to realize after 4 seasons of television. Maybe they do it infrequently in the other seasons, but it's not exactly a criticism. It's just something I noticed, I guess.
I think each episode had like one like iconic moment, which I can't say for like all the other seasons.
What was the iconic moment in episode 6?
6 was when Kendall, he advertised the thing and it was just really cringe.
Cringe? I mean, I thought
Yes,
that
it was
supposed to be
cringe,
Winfred.
but that's why it was funny.
No, it's cringe to us because like the idea and notion of that type of like business or something, that type of product was ridiculous. But like,
Yeah, but like all the other Waystar people were cringing at it.
yeah, for a little bit, but then it kind of showed, like, it kind of sets him up to be this kind of cocky person. And at the end, he texts Roman the AI video of Logan saying that Roman has a small dick.
That feels so. This season was all made before like that AI shit really took off. So that's like foreshadowing. Well, not foreshadowing.
Really
That's like
passionate about that. That was
Dude,
cool.
I
honestly.
yeah.
like they foreshadowed so much crap like in this season that like just I feel like flew over everyone's heads. Like the whole like Kendall almost being like a bully to Roman, like that's like a constant thing that happens throughout the season, and it only gets worse in the end.
Yeah, but he deserved it.
I guess the arc is like he's becoming more like his dad, except in the end, ironically, he loses all the social status that his dad had.
Well, he kind of always bullied Roman. He kept him in a dog cage as a kid.
yeah. I kind of forgot about that. Can we talk about how Tabitha has not been in this show since like season 2?
Dude, why do you care?
For
She's
real.
the best character.
Come
It's
on.
this and Jess Jordan, bro.
Jerry's better. Jerry's honestly better. Jerry was kind of just, I mean, I know she got quote unquote fired. Actually, no, not quote unquote. She did get fired actually, but she's brought back on later in the finale. But yeah, Jerry was just kind of not in like any sort of presence after like episode 5 probably.
She just became irrelevant. Episode 8, the election one, I thought was probably the best episode at that point. I don't know about you guys.
I would, yeah, I could see that, yeah, for sure. I was feeling that, like, it's definitely up there with episode 3. You could argue it's more enjoyable too.
I mean, yeah, like episode 3 is more like unique, but episode 8 was like such a good like Succession episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like all like the dynamics and the characters and shit, and all the betrayals and shit with Greg especially, and Shiv.
It's very
and Kendall was
enjoyable.
like
Yeah.
so good.
And I mean, obviously, this is a satire of like the Trump election and everything. But man, it was just so cool watching everything happen and seeing. I guess there was like a small focus, or not a small focus, but a focus on Tom because this was his first election as like the head of the biggest conservative media network in, I guess, America. And it was cool seeing him panic because he's being told to do like 5 different things by 5 different people. And
Yeah, there were some great scenes where like multiple people just like yelling at him, and he was just trying to respond to all of them at once. It was like, and like the siblings kept trying to come into the room, and he was trying to get Greg to like get him to leave.
oh yeah.
But Greg has no juice, so he can't.
Oh man, we got to just touch on that weird Shiv and Greg scene in that episode though.
Where she completely fails to get any kind of leverage.
Did y'all feel that way, like, as it was happening?
Yeah. Well, first off, she was trying to like play the moves. She was like, "Oh, you find me attractive, Greg?" Which was weird. But then as soon as he was like, "Oh, what's in it for me?" and she was like, "Oh, nothing, fuck you," he was like, "Oh, damn, she was an idiot." I really like Greg's involvement in those last few episodes, actually.
No, it's crazy how he's changed since like the beginning of the show.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. In the earlier episodes, he was obviously kind of like annoying, and that doesn't help that at the time those allegations were coming out. It was just
Yeah.
kind of insufferable to see him being annoying in Succession and everything. But yeah, he really does turn around.
And he didn't really lose in the end, but he didn't really win either. So also, I fucking hated Roman in episode 8, like especially. Like I've never really liked him to begin with, but in episode 8, he was just so bad.
What scene are you thinking about in particular?
Pretty much every scene where where he wants Tom to call it for, what was it, whatever state.
It's like Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean,
Wisconsin.
yeah. I mean, basically, in that entire episode, he's just kind of trying to push Tom, and he's also like bringing up obvious political points that are bad faith and everything, and stuff like that. Trying to justify violence and some weird stuff on the right wing. But honestly, it was really fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
I really felt it for Shiv and Kendall that episode, especially when Kendall was like questioning himself because Rava was telling about how his daughter was being like harassed or whatever, but he's too much of a pussy to actually stop it. So
I just don't think he wants to stop it. He doesn't want to believe that he's lacking in any capacity, like as a father, I guess. So
well, there was that great scene with Shiv where he said the poison drips through.
yeah, and then oh my god, and then that just leads into the whole realization part where I think he calls what's the Democratic candidate's name?
Jimenez.
Yeah, where he calls him, and then that like amazing scene where he just like looks at Shiv after the realization starts to hit him, and then he talks to Greg.
Greg was making moves, bro. He was making moves this whole season.
When he poured on that guy's face.
Yeah, Elliot.
Wait, well, wasn't it like what's it called? Wasabi or something? Like it was something they got in his eye. That whole shit, that was so hilarious, man. That was like one of the funniest moments.
Is this the first time you've heard of wasabi?
What?
Nothing.
What else should we talk about him knowing that episode? I mean, Roman was, besides being annoying, he was like cooking up the whole way to kill a deal with Mencken, which obviously doesn't work out in the next episode.
Well, yeah, the funniest part of that whole thing was like Kendall was trying to justify them electing Mencken or clearing him or whatever. It's like, oh, we'll be able to stop a deal. And then that doesn't even end up happening. So they just basically helped get a crazy guy president, and they got nothing out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pitch that Ken was trying to make in the previous episode was kind of a long shot anyways. He was trying to convince a Democratic Party leader to block a deal that would put his conservative like news network in in like trouble. Like it was just a long shot anyways, and he was just kind of playing himself.
What was your guys' thoughts on Shiv and Matsson's like weird relationship thing?
They was both using each other. Just too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I think in hindsight there were a lot of signs that showed that Matsson doesn't take Shiv seriously. I mean, I think he was kind of trying to be genuine.
So you think he was gonna dump her from the start?
I
No.
think in episode 5 he was kind of trying to be genuine with her
Yeah.
when he talks about how he sends like bags of his blood to Eva and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, as the season progresses, Matsson sees how Shiv actually wants to have a voice. Like, she offers herself up as a puppet, right? But obviously she's not willing to stick to that at all. I guess you can see some signs that he was gonna dump her or just not take her seriously to begin with.
And we need to talk about the actual best scene of the episode, which is the Greg and Jess scene, because Jess is in it.
Oh, was that when Greg is on his way to like tell the people to call the election and he feels bad about it?
Yeah, and he's trying to justify it to himself, and Jess is just like, "Oh my god."
Jess is awesome, man. She's awesome in those last
In
Eight and
nine,
nine.
8 and
in
9
nine specifically.
Yeah, she kind of gets like a little send off, which is, I guess, more than I should have hoped for, but also I wanted more. But she wasn't in the finale though. She got replaced by New Jess.
They even say it too. That's so wild.
They just straight up saying new Jess. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole episode, like, I like how like just it perfectly like just encapsulate like that feeling of like election 2020. You know, like that's what it did really well. And I was surprised like a lot of people like just was really into it, even though like it's literally like a politics thing. But they somehow made it like personal, and like it also felt very tense.
It wasn't just about the obvious like stupid social commentary, but it was more so about the characters, their current situation. Just happened. It was just like it just happened to take place during an election thing.
But yeah, obviously they have some really amazing moments between the characters. I hate to bring it up again, but you know, just that scene where Ken's on the phone and he realizes like that's just super good.
Should we go on to episode 9? It feels like, is each episode just like the day after the other?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So the entire like season takes place in like a week.
That's kind of crazy. Like, it was already weird watching the first episode of season 4, and they talk about how it's Logan's birthday, and then you realize like it's only been like a year since the first episode of the show. But then the way this season just takes place, like a day, and then the next day, and then the next day, it's just insane in hindsight.
They're saying in the later episodes like, "Oh, our dad just died." I was like, "No, he's not. He died weeks ago." But wait,
Exactly.
actually, yeah, he did like a few days ago, which makes Roman being so pissed off at Matsson makes make a lot more sense.
But yeah, episode 9. What'd you guys think?
Good episode, not as good as episode 8 in my opinion, but still pretty damn swag.
I think it was better than episode 8.
I think it was a great episode, like a great Succession episode, but it gave me worry about what they were setting up for the finale. And then I heard the finale was 90 minutes, and then I got a little bit more worried. But we can talk about how it ended up later. But yeah, besides that, I think it was an amazing episode, and there's like some standout performances, and Kendall gets his Kendall moment again.
Once Ewan starts his speech, it's basically amazing from them.
Yeah, no, that was and we finally get to know what happened to Rose.
Yo, that was insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And like how they revealed like a new, you know, like what they're trying to imply is like just they're trying to show a new angle to Logan. And I love how that built into how Roman responded, which built into Kendall and then Shiv's speech. Like I just like how they all like set that up. It was really nice.
And you know, just touching on the whole Rose thing again, did you guys think you knew what happened to Rose? Like, were you anywhere close to what actually happened to her? Because when I heard that Logan
low-key
blamed herself,
forgot.
I thought he like ran over her or something.
I didn't even remember or know that Rose was a person that existed.
Yeah, I forgot after like
I just assumed she like died from like some sickness, which is kind of what happened.
yeah, you were right.
Yeah. Apparently Jesse Armstrong, like he said, like he already had an idea. He already basically knew. It was just this was like the only time where he felt it was necessary to talk about it.
This episode is basically just an excuse for actors to make Emmy speeches like one after the other.
That's like every episode.
Yeah, but especially
Although I
this
will
one.
say Shiv's speech was less necessary than the other two, but I got why it had to happen.
Why did she even get up there? She didn't add anything.
Well, I liked when she how Logan always made them be outside and were never around him. So I would say that was
I
interesting.
guess it's like kind of like a goodbye thing, like just a very bittersweet goodbye. But I think Ewan, I think I think that was my favorite one because that one just felt the most honest to me about Logan. Like it wasn't just him shitting on his billionaire brother, but like him just giving like an actual like nuanced portrait of Logan.
I like that Kendall's was basically just an excuse to talk about how cool he is.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of great small character moments, like when Caroline and Marcia and Logan's concubines all sat in the same row up front.
Episode 9 and then episode 10. I think that's when I was starting to realize like Roman might be like the highlight character of this season. Like I really liked just everything they added with him. I know, he's not really a likable character, but like they definitely did do more to make him a little more likable, especially, in this episode.
I think Roman's awesome. I don't know. Like he can definitely be annoying. I think he peaked at the annoying stuff in Too Much Birthday.
I like the scenes in this episode before the funeral with Kendall where he's like going psycho mode because Rava's trying to get the fuck out of there. And then also that scene with Jess afterwards, which is just so good.
He calls her dumb and everything. Come on, dude.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to stand in front of the car so you can't leave, bitch.
He was doing a Walter White, bro.
Yeah, true. Was this Kendall Roy's Ozymandias moment?
It's the when Walt threw the plan at Ted's office. It's that scene.
We got to talk about how Tom just skipped out on the funeral entirely. Like,
Yeah, good for him.
that's a ballsy move. That is just
He was cooking.
Was he
He
cooking?
was cooking, yeah.
He already said goodbye to him on the plane anyway. He didn't need to.
Oh, that is true.
He would probably cry if he was there. He didn't want to show weakness.
Yeah, he did cry later when, he talks about to Shiv at the apartment or, wherever they go after the funeral.
I like how the showrunners were saying like when you start the episode, it was like Kendall was kind of on bottom, Roman's on top. But then when the episode ends, it's like the roles just completely reverse.
It's all setting up Kendall's epic downfall in the last episode. Again.
And Kendall really channels his inner Logan when he told Roman, "You fucked up" at the end of the episode.
That was so, man. I knew I really wanted more a positive arc for Ken, but man, it just never happened.
We all knew something like this was going to happen, obviously, but they kind of make it obvious because in the first trailer, right after Logan died, they show some scenes from the future episodes, and then one of them, which is pretty notable, is Roman saying something like, "Oh, I already pre-grieved already. I'm fine, guys." Like, no, you're not, dude.
That was just
You're
so
not.
surprising, like how they set that up too. Like I don't think anybody just expect him to just randomly break down in the church. And here's the thing, we got to see this again in the next episode, and I'm like, this just really proved that like they kind of they're showing like a far more vulnerable side to Roman. That's why I think he really stood out to me in these last couple episodes.
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, he has that thing where he goes off to just get himself beat up. But yeah, that Jess scene, best scene, good scene.
Bro, you're still on the jet.
No, that scene,
What?
no. He's valid. That scene is actually goated.
It's the second time Kendall's done something wrong ever, which was being rude to Jess. The first time was when he was rude to her in season 3.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
He was like, "What? What are you looking at, bitch?" Or whatever he said. What do we think Jess is up to now?
Hopefully something else other than this.
I think she's CEO of a new company.
I think she could be really good if she worked under Tom, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been the biggest. That would have been so funny if like Tom came in at the end and he had Jess as his new assistant,
Yeah,
and then Kendall saw that and then
or
killed
when
himself.
when Hugo's trying to talk to him, and instead of saying "Where's Carolina," he's like, "Where's Jess?"
I don't think Jess wants to be involved in that company at all anymore. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I
obviously
reckon.
the company or the news network that first called the election for Mencken. Obviously, yeah, it's not going to.
Jess can just start like a YouTube channel, something where she just talks about how fucked up the Roys are.
Yeah, but she's probably under an NDA or something.
Is there anything else to say on that episode?
there's plenty to say, like his huge grave.
Yeah, what the hell even was that? It was like a whole building.
Yeah, and there was other I don't know what they're called, but other places to put bodies in.
Oh yeah, for the family. But didn't they say that the guy who made that grave made it for his pets or something? Or no? Am I misremembering?
Yeah, it was something I forgot.
Yeah, and then Marsha at the end, she says something to Shiv like, "He broke my heart and he broke your hearts." That was pretty good stuff.
And then Shiv asked Frank and Carl if he was a bad guy.
But then we get that epic moment at the end where Kendall just like gets some resolve or something. He does his typical Kendall thing where he gets really confident and he gets some support and he makes Hugo his dog and everything.
Yeah, Hugo's so eager to be his little puppy.
Well, because Kendall has that thing in his back pocket, the whole stock thing.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that, honestly.
It was a really good episode, and obviously the whole Roman stuff is the star of that because it showcases some emotion about losing someone and not properly grieving them, but then it also shows how obviously these kids are at the center of the world right now, and even something as personal as a funeral for their dead father, like even that's not really personal in the end. Everyone's watching them, the president's watching them, and Roman's emotion has consequences. The plan with Macon starts to fall, even if Kendall tries to string it all together. Then Shiv and Mattson come in, they do their little pitch, and it actually works. So, and it sets up the whole battle that's going to happen in the next episode.
Speaking of which, next episode.
Let's talk about it.
What's the episode name?
With Open Eyes.
What's that even referring to?
It's just all from some poem or something.
What?
Oh my god.
The poem that all the finales borrow a line from in their
Yeah, but I
title.
was talking about the mom. We was talking about eyes in the episode.
Yeah, that's unrelated.
No, it's not. That's why she says with open eyes.
They don't say the titles of any of the other finales, though, do they?
Sometimes they do.
Do they say this is not for tears?
No, I
Um,
don't think so.
I don't even know why it's called This Is Not for Tears anyways.
Because it's the poem.
It's because Jesse Armstrong's a little fucking pretentious boy. What we were talking about? Oh, yeah, the last episode. Yeah, it was pretty good. I already can't even remember a single thing that happened in the first, half hour, honestly.
I did mention how I was worried about the 90 minutes, and obviously I ended up being wrong because I think it was paced really well. I honestly didn't feel like it was 90 minutes.
Did you want it to be shorter?
No, I'm just saying I'm not used to TV finales being that long, I guess. And I know Succession is kind of, I wouldn't say unique, but for me it is kind of unique because it's the only TV show that really stretches into the hour mark compared to others, which are just 45 minutes with ads. And
Did you see Stranger Things?
No, 'cause I'm not a nerd.
Okay, everyone has seen it, but okay.
Stranger Things justified its runtime, okay?
But yeah, no, they handled the 90-minute runtime really well. I was gonna disagree and say that the first 30 minutes were important, but yeah, I'm trying to think right now.
It's just like Kendall and people just fucking around, and then they all go to the mum's house.
Oh yeah, it's Kendall. Maybe probably his most annoying before the obvious moment. He's doing the thing where he's trying to boss everyone around and trying to be very cocky and everything, and he even brings that into his mother's house where he's just trying to boss Roman around and get an answer from him and doesn't really care about his well-being. And I mean, Shiv is basically doing the same. She's there to get Roman's vote, but at least she's kind of trying to put up a facade of being genuine, at least.
Also, Tom or Shiv offered Tom to have a real relationship, but then Tom's he's not sure of it.
I will say I kind of found this whole season the weird back and forth with Shiv and Tom to be kind of annoying.
I get it being annoying, but it just felt more like they were actually becoming more genuine with themselves. So it kind of kept it from being annoying because we would always learn something new, I guess.
Normally, yeah, it would be annoying, but you kind of have to take the circumstances into it. Tom loses his, his protector, Logan. He loses the guy who was supposed to kind of ensure that he would be okay, even though he's divorcing his daughter. And then Shiv, she just loses her dad. She finds out she's pregnant, and she's kind of pushed out of the executive part of the company by her brothers, who say they want to keep her in there, but they're obviously, I mean, by the 405, by that, they're already discussing things behind her back, and they're saying that she can't handle it and everything. Shiv was obviously trying to find something to latch onto. And I guess this kind of allows Tom to get some higher ground because obviously he's in a position where even without Logan, he's okay telling Shiv that he might not want a real relationship with her. Even though she's set up to be the American CEO of Waystar and everything.
Isn't it crazy that Tom was originally in a bad position after Logan died? He was questioning whether he would even be in any decent position without him. Oh yeah, the opening was a little different, but I don't remember the details. The opening was different.
It looked the same to me, but I wasn't paying much attention.
I was just taking the music in, because it's probably the last time, besides rewatches and everything. It's probably the last time we'll hear it.
It's time to admit that Succession is one of the best theme songs. I think I'm willing to accept that now.
Dude, we've been knowing that since season
We
1.
already knew that. I mean, Game of Thrones is still better, but yeah, it's pretty
Game
good.
of
No,
Thrones
it's
is
not Game of Thrones.
corny as shit, bro.
Not good.
Shut
it's
up.
so long and so
It
boring.
doesn't even sound
and
like
the song
nice.
wasn't even
It's not
as
even
good.
musically.
Succession is long as well, and that's just random VHS nothings.
What do you mean? It foreshadows a bunch of shit.
Game of Thrones, it shows the world, okay?
Game of Thrones intro is just boring. Like it's not anything good.
You're boring.
Okay, so the episode pretty much it's kind of like set up until Mattson reveals that he wants Tom to be his American CEO and not Shiv.
I don't think anyone really expected that conversation to happen. I mean, people were memeing about, obviously, stuff like, ooh, Tom and Greg on top, But I don't think anybody expected that to happen.
Except somebody here.
I did.
Yeah. When they said that Madison was meeting with Lawrence Yee from Walter, who we haven't seen since like season 2, I was like, oh, okay, they're bringing him back. They're gonna bring him back to be the, I don't know, not the final boss or whatever, but just like
That was so funny. I thought the memes were going to come
And then
true.
he wasn't even in the episode.
Yeah, why the fuck did they do that?
Oh, weird.
That's funny.
They were trolling.
I guess it was to keep them from guessing who. Like he just leaked it that's Lawrence and not Tom.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting, honestly. That whole conversation and that little weird turn where Madsen was just talking about how he wants to bang Shiv and everything, and how he could get her to bang him. And that was just his weird way of saying that he could probably never handle a woman being like at the top of an executive level or something like that.
I found it odd that Mattson suddenly wanted Tom when surely he's just been completely disregarding him the entire time.
I think the fact that he disregarded him though, and Tom was okay with that, like even before that conversation, like when they're just having dinner and he's presumably evaluating Tom to see if he should stay as like head of ATN. Like even then, Tom makes it known that he'd be willing to be a robot basically and service him.
True.
And I guess his lack of sticking out kind of impressed or caught Mattson's attention overall, in the long run.
Yeah, he doesn't seem as a threat.
Yeah, exactly. Because if Tom were trying to be like a Kendall type or a Roman, like anyone with ambition, someone who would want to push Mattson to make certain decisions, like when Shiv was pushing Mattson to, reveal his India numbers to the public, like the real numbers, I think that would have definitely killed him, obviously. But yeah, Tom knew what he's good at, and he played his cards right. I mean, he did the same thing with Logan, basically. He offered himself up. He just kind of becomes a little, like, Logan's servant and everything. So, yeah.
Tom is just way smarter than any of the Roys.
I mean, yeah, he is, yeah.
And I was wondering if Greg knew Tom was going to be CEO when Tom was talking to him, or he just translated that conversation. That's what they said. I was wondering that.
Oh, we got to talk about Greg leaking the conversation, because I think if Tom were just a little bit honest and was like, Greg, I could be the new CEO, instead of saying, oh, you're taking a cut, but I could save you maybe. Like, if he just showed a little bit of honesty, maybe he could have avoided that, and the whole vote thing wouldn't have been as close as it was.
No, I think if he didn't say that, then Shiv wouldn't have found out about it. Shiv would have gone mad. Then Shiv would have voted for Kendall instead, and Kendall would have won him in. Because Greg told Kendall about how it's going to be Tom, and then Kendall told Shiv, and then Shiv became mad. And originally, at first, she was like, all right, we need to take him down. But then during the vote thing, she changed her mind because she, I guess she realized that it's better off to be subservient to Tom than to let Kendall win.
Oh, yeah, no, but I mean, like, the fact that they found out that it wouldn't be Shiv a good 12 hours earlier, if that didn't leak or anything, then they probably would have been caught by surprise, and they wouldn't have time to get their ducks in a row, like, Stewie was still very on the fence about it all.
So what you're saying is Greg had the most impact on the plot.
Yeah, I guess, but he still sucks, and I was happy when Tom slapped him, and I was shocked when Greg slapped him back.
That was so funny. There was a lot of good funny fight scenes this episode.
That was the same bathroom that Kendall tore up in the
Yeah.
first episode.
Yeah. Can we talk about how like the sibling plot in the middle chunk of this episode, and I guess also the end, is kind of like a repeat of the season 3 finale, where it's all about them getting back together, united, but then it falls apart in a different way at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the finales besides like season 2, they have like a sort of scene where the siblings are kind of like getting rid of their differences, and obviously they do that to evoke some emotions, like, "Ooh, this is so nice that they're doing this." You know, maybe they'll actually keep it this time. Maybe they'll stick together. But the whole time this was happening, like, I knew it was wholesome when they were like doing the whole anointing the king and everything and making Kendall's disgusting milkshake. I just knew I just had this feeling of dread. Like, I know something is terrible is about to happen. Also, seeing Kendall near water, like when he was swimming, I was just like, oh man, like something's about to happen to one of these kids. Like a shark's gonna eat them.
Yeah, he was going to get eaten by a shark. Once Kendall was like, that's last scene where he gets to sit in Logan's chair. Once that happened, I knew it was so done.
Why?
I know, it was just too good. And like when he was like putting up his feet on the table and to like change shit, don't think I expected it to be Shiv to be the one to fuck it up, but yeah.
That whole that whole sequence is just something else. And before that, there was another, there was when Roman went to Kendall's like office, and and then Jerry came through, and then like he had that breakdown.
Kendall tries to comfort him, and then he proceeds to like push his like the
Yeah,
his
was he
shoulder
asking for
into-
that?
No. So Roman was like trying to say that he doesn't look bad enough. Like where if they were to pitch him as CEO instead, people would still maybe want him to do it. So Ken like hugs him, but then he makes his wound burst to make him look unpresentable, I guess.
Wow,
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
that is some Logan manipulative shit. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, it might be Kendall at one of his worst moments.
This
before
has to
his
be
obvious worst
this
moment.
whole episode, bro. Like it really brought out the worst in him.
I think it was a very good decision to make like the conclusion of the show like a repeat, like a round 2 of the boardroom vote thing from season 1. Like it's basically the exact same
It's
thing.
kind of full circle, I guess, because the boardroom thing, I'm pretty sure that was like the first big moment for Succession, right?
Yeah, that's basically the episode where people were like, "Oh, you gotta."
That was the real start of the show.
Yeah,
That was when the show actually became good.
we're missing like a whole scene where they're in Logan's old apartment. Connor and Will are like giving away Logan's old possessions or auctioning them off to friends and family, and then they get emotional watching the dinner thing, right? It's weird how you can see in that video Carrie is like very obviously putting her head on Logan's shoulder. Like they're just not being subtle about it at all.
And that was Connor's like last scene, truly.
Yeah, that was it, right?
He just showed up for one scene in the entire episode and just
Honestly, Connor really won, right? I mean, the whole pre-election party where he tells Roman that, Roman doesn't respect him, but it doesn't matter because Willa respects him and wants
I
him to
told
stay in
y'all
the
their
race and
relationship
everything.
was real, but nobody wanted to believe me.
But then there was that part in this episode where Willa seemed pretty happy to be doing a long distance thing.
Yeah, it's not 100% real.
It's not a real relationship.
No,
What are you
that's
talking about?
cap. That's cap.
Connor's just a fucking idiot, all right?
Yeah, but Connor's like an idiot enough where he separates himself from the rest of his family's like terrible attributes and everything. Like he has his own set of problems, but they're not as bad as Roman, Shiv, and Kendall.
Well, that's because he's not trying to gun for CEO. So there is that.
Well, he's free from all the family drama.
Yeah, even if the relationship isn't real with Willa, I mean, he still uses her as a latch, the way I guess Shiv wants to latch onto Tom. Like Shiv and Roman and Kendall, they don't have someone they can safely latch to. And Connor's aware that Willa probably might not love him and is only with him for money. But I guess he still uses it as a cope or something to forget about his family. Now we got to talk about the big moment.
Where everything goes great.
Yeah, Shiv switching her vote.
Well, first off, they do a little thing where Roman thinks about it for a second, but then he goes along with it anyway.
I don't know, man. I was just kind of speechless during that whole thing when Shiv was switching her vote. Obviously, there are different interpretations that people are taking to justify or try to explain why Shiv did it. But what do you guys think? Because there's obviously some wrong ones, and there's obviously some less wrong ones.
Well, me personally, it seemed like it was because first off, she just couldn't stand to see Kendall take the dub, and also she thought it'd be better for herself to be like there as Tom's like wife then like not at all with Ken.
Yeah, I was wondering if part of it was like that Roy sibling rivalry still at play, you know? Because if she votes no, then that means like in a weird way she almost kind of has like that power over him. And like, you know, part of the reason why all of them wanted to be CEO in the first place was to have all that power. So I was wondering if that played any role.
I think she did it because she couldn't. She realized she can't. If she doesn't win, none of her siblings can. As she already said, that she kind of fell in love with Tom for the first time. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I'm not ripping on anybody here because you guys don't share this opinion, but it's funny going online and seeing people say that Shiv did it because she wanted to save Kendall from becoming Logan.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's not.
Plus,
no,
I'm
it's not
pretty
some big
sure like their
play to-
conversation like deconfirms that, right? Like when they were talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, she just straight up says she can't stand.
No, I mean like
Kendall.
that. No, what sealed it was like bringing up the kid thing and the fact that he tried to deny it, right? Like that kind of deconfirms that whole theory.
That was the worst part when she brought it up. I was happy that she brought it up, and then when Kendall was like, "Oh no, actually it didn't happen," like God, he's a fucking idiot.
I don't know how people watch that scene. I think that it was some elaborate, planned, selfless effort to cut off the father's legacy from the rest of the kids. And
Yeah, and she was like laughing at him as well, kind of. When he
yeah,
was like, "I'm the eldest boy."
it's definitely a selfish move, obviously.
It almost in a weird way felt like that was genuinely a reason that she had for like not being comfortable with Kendall being in charge, because when she brought it up, I feel like almost Roman had that similar kind of thought because they were both looking at him crazy when he was just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I just don't think it was selfless or planned out. Obviously, it was a last minute thing, and obviously, it's a move that puts her position like secured. You know.
Yeah, but at the same time, I can't say it was a completely like just power driven motive because the feelings that, you know, she had in that whole, you know, thing, it was genuine. So we can't say like she was just acting the whole time.
Yeah, I can't buy her saying I don't think you'd be good at it when she already made that decision with Roman when they were a lot more level headed, I think.
I think she knows he'd be good at it. Just doesn't want to see him being that.
Would he be good at it though?
I mean,
Like,
he would. Like, why wouldn't he?
He would undoubtedly be better than either Shiv or Roman.
Yeah, I would say that.
At least in my opinion.
well, I think the point is that they're all not good at it.
Yeah, but Kendall, he's been training for it his whole life, bro.
I mean, I don't know about Shiv, but he's definitely better than Roman.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think he would be good at it, and I don't think. we
No, I
should be
think once he
saying that.
actually gets what he wants, being CEO, he might like focus up, you know? Well, Tom would be better than any of them anyway, and that's what happened, so. I like a good Jeremy Strong saying, and that's as good as they come.
It's like-
handles a
It's
pregnant-
cringe to watch. It's
She
very
deserved
cringe
it.
to watch, but like that to me is like what makes Succession like really good. Like, you know,
Yeah, especially when he's like, "Oh, just please don't do it." Like he just completely gives up. Basically, he's just trying to. Yeah, I'll fucking die. He's probably not.
yeah,
wrong
and like
about
the
that.
fact that he was
Yeah.
literally about to like fight Shiv about it while she's pregnant. That's like crazy to me.
Okay, what about when he like presses hands on Roman? I thought he was gonna fucking like gouge his eyes out like in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And Roman is still a massive cunt when he brings up Kendall's like children not being like real.
What did he mean when he said the other one is half like filing clerk?
As in like sperm donor.
Oh, okay.
Kendall should have gouged his balls, honestly. Honestly, I know like when he started denying the like supposed murder thing, that was like basically the end of it. But it was already like there was literally no way he could have changed Shiv's mind, even if he like owned up to it anyway. So how did Kendall ever even get into a relationship with Raven in the first place and manage to pop out 2 kids?
It was probably like college when he was always high.
I don't know, man. This whole scene it's just so sad to me seeing like this is the place where Kendall was at, because I feel like in season 3, especially the end, like that was like him at his most likable in my opinion, or him at his most sympathetic, and it seemed like he was genuinely like somebody that was like hurt from that pain, and like it seemed like, you know, them bringing it back up in the finale, it was to kind of prove like he's just so far gone from like the vulnerable side of Ken that we're used to seeing.
I think in a way this was like meant to be a parallel, or maybe not necessarily a parallel, but you guys say he's the most competent at being CEO. But I think it is also meant to show that he's maybe arguably the most broken.
The most emotional, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, because we got Roman and he's crying at the funeral and everything, and then we got Shiv, who obviously is latching onto someone that doesn't want
Yeah.
her.
The
And
difference is like
she
Kendall is trying to
also-
play it tough. And we all know like he's not that type of person, but he's
Yeah.
trying to do it because he's trying to, work his way up.
I mean, obviously Kendall's like his, what is it called, brokenness or whatever. He's just more fundamentally deep down messed up, because you see it several times. You see him bring up how he's the eldest boy. He just screams that. And he also brings up how when they're trying to choose CEO, he brings up something from when he was 7 years old.
I think he was talking about how like Logan damaged them.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that he brings up something from 7, I think that just shows how, even if he thinks he's like better, and I just think he's still at his worst,
Yeah, I think the thing is like he's like very insecure, and it's like that's literally why he plays it tough. It's like he's just hiding insecurities. Like the fact that he brought that up to prove a point to Roman about like being the CEO in charge. Like he brought the shit up like when he was 7 years old, right?
Roman and Shiv also bring up how Logan promised the CEO thing to them, but it was also like in the past year. And you look back at season 1, the first episode, Logan was kind of grooming Kendall for the top position for a while. Like they were working on marketing and planning and stuff about how Logan's going to retire and how Kendall's going to step up. Like, I think that whole CEO promise stuff reached a further extent with Kendall than it did with the other siblings,
Good. So what about the aftermath where Tom gets the crown?
And I saw people when they had the promo for this episode, I saw people saying that Tom's gonna be CEO because they showed the scene where he's like walking into the board meeting.
The music was going crazy in that part.
Oh yeah, shout out to what's his name, Nicholas
Patel.
Because we don't have to wait for the season 4 soundtrack; it's already out.
I can't use any of it though because I'll get copyright struck immediately.
But no, it was an awesome scene, and honestly, I still wasn't sure until like 10 minutes before that scene if they were still going to choose Tom, because they were making it a point that Lucas was interviewing a lot of people. But yeah, no, he really did go with Tom.
Yeah, that was just so satisfying. And then like seeing with Greg, like he's like the vibe I got from their final conversation was like you backstab me and I could literally just like kick you out, but because I'm in charge, then I'm just gonna put you under my wing. That's kind of the vibe I was getting.
I think the vibes I got were more, and I've already mentioned this before, like the parallels, but Logan and Kendall, obviously not 1-to-1. It was like, Logan, no matter how many times Kendall backstabbed him, Logan was still always willing to keep Kendall in a little meager role or anything, like just something very small and menial, not important, just to keep an eye on him, making him do the garbage work, like firing everyone at Volter, all types of stuff like that. That's just kind of the vibes I got with Tom and Greg.
Greg's gonna be Tom's assistant for minimum wage.
Yeah, I mean, Greg was basically already the guy who was eating shit for Tom. He would send him to talk to Carrie about her tape and everything. He would send
And firing all those guys over like Zoom or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's just the dynamic there. And even though Greg did kind of backstab Tom, and we know that even before that, he's never been very trustworthy to Tom. He's always been very eager to give information out to Kendall in particular. It's weird that they mentioned Laird and Lawrence, and I was like, oh, please show us those characters. Please bring them back just for the
It would have been so fucking funny.
Yeah, it'd be like awesome. Give us all the cameos or whatever.
Yeah, the Saul Gone treatment.
Oh, yeah, just like Saul Gone, yeah.
Yeah, literally, we needed the Lawrence E. time machine.
Yeah, they should have brought back Naomi. They should have brought back
Tabitha,
they should have brought back the first girl that Roman was dating from season
who
1.
no one remembers. Can we talk about the last sequence now, showing all the characters going off to their Shiv and Tom drive off into the sunset to have a happy relationship. Yeah, Rome was chilling out, having a little, what was it, wine, champagne?
What do you guys think about people on Twitter, obviously, saying that Roman, like his whole little thing at the end, that he's going to be the one that turns out the most fine from this experience? What do you guys think about that? Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
It did seem like he was bringing himself like Connor did.
He's just going to buy a big house somewhere and just collect Lego sets or something.
Yeah, I'm also inclined to agree, just because, obviously he's still fucked up and everything, and he probably was touched as a kid or something, but obviously he kind of lost his will and his resolve to be a really big, like, Logan-esque businessman after the whole experience at the funeral. He's gonna have this empty void, but at least he's gonna be able to
Yeah.
fill it with something, you know.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Shiv will just be depressed, but
Kendall's in a bad spot.
He's-
Jesus Christ.
He's dead.
Kendall has approximately 2 days left to live.
The fact that like Jeremy Strong like
Does
just
he even have 2 days?
improvised like the idea of like, oh, he would just go over a wall and commit suicide. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I think they should have done like he like puts his hands on like the railing and like clenches it, and then it like ends, so you don't know like
Okay,
who's gonna chop off.
That's nice. Yeah, I like that idea.
I did see someone point out on Twitter, and this is some cool symbolism, obviously, the fact that Colin is still following him around. And even if Kendall wants to end it all, you know, he can't. Like, you know, symbolically, it's still Logan's shadow there and everything in the form of Colin, you know?
I think Kendall either ODs like in a week, or he after like 25 decades he'll eventually have some semblance of a family life again, maybe.
I mean, he's definitely in the worst spot, especially because this is just another moment where he was on the cusp of essentially ruling the world.
Like he was literally sitting at the desk
Yeah, like
in the
it's
chair.
probably his closest brush with it ever, you know? Yeah, he's in a rough spot. I don't think I would have wanted him to kill himself. I don't like to think that he goes on to kill himself either. I just think it's good that they did it that way. I don't think I would have preferred it any other way.
Yeah, I'm fine with the ending. I'm not like complaining or anything. I think what actually happens is Kendall shows up at Waystar like a week later with like a machine gun and just murders everyone.
I mean, for the Shiv ending, I find her character's ending interesting because I feel like her actions are like the most ambiguous in my opinion. Like it's kind of the most hard to figure out like what her trajectory is, like what causes this. Like we were having a whole discussion about like why she changed the vote.
Yeah, I think her life is probably going to be pretty devoid of anything passionate, I guess, because Tom is in a position of power now. At least she secured herself a spot at the top, you know. Probably, I don't know if she's going to be a bad mom or not. She probably will be, maybe. But
Is Greg gonna be the kid's godfather?
that'd be so gross. Who wants Greg as a god?
Is Greg being groomed for CEO now? He's gonna be the new Kendall?
I didn't know. I saw someone on Twitter comparing Tom as CEO to what's his name, Bran from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Who has a better story?
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Game of Thrones was way better.
Like the Dexter finale's worse.
Is it really as bad as everyone says?
Yeah. Well, the entire last season is a train wreck.
Guys, let's rate the episode.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, obviously.
It's 10 out of 10, but I will say there are much better finales that exist out there.
Do we like the Better Call Saul finale more?
Definitely.
Probably I
Pretty
like
easily
this one
better,
more. I don't know.
I feel like the internet's already turning on the Saul finale.
Yeah. Or
Like,
just
I don't
know.
see any, like, other than, like, I follow a lot of Better Call Saul accounts. Obviously, I see that shit all the time, but, like,
I saw Kimp and I saw K-Dot saying that Saul gone, or no, this was better than Saul gone. I was just like, no.
That's just recency bias. Like, say what you want about Succession finale, but Sauron had the emotion.
yeah, I wasn't, like, feeling, I guess I never, like, really felt, like, intense emotion about the show, but, yeah, the biggest emotions I felt in this episode were just, like, laughter.
I probably felt the most emotion when they were watching Logan archive finish. I think this finale is better than Felina, because Felina's
Nah,
kind of
Felena's better than
gross.
Saldon.
Lena is overrated. I
No.
will agree.
I mean, it is a little bit.
I'm
It's
on
not
season
top
5 of the
but-
Breaking Bad watch right now, so we'll see.
All right.
We'll see what I think of Felina. Is this the best episode of the season?
Yeah.
It's a decent 9 to
Probably,
a
but
light 10.
The 3 best episodes in no particular order for me are 3, 8, 10. I think either 10 or 8 is the best.
Yeah, I would say the last 3 are probably my favorites. And if I had to give any order, it would probably be 9, 8, 10, 8.
Anyway, is this the best season of Succession? Yes or
Probably.
no?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I can't comment because I haven't watched the other seasons in like years. But I think I like season 1 and 2 more.
I would say it gets better season by season. Like, I'd rank them 4, 3, 2, 1.
For show as a whole, how is this like top 5 or 3 shows for you guys, or
I think it's top 5.
Top 5 for me, and I'm just gonna diss the Barry fans. Barry is in the top 40.
I'd say Barry is top 25.
I don't think I've even seen 5 real shows.
Yeah, me neither. I struggle to name any like actual
Like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Succession, Stranger Things is not a real show. Game of Thrones, House House of Cards, maybe?
Yeah, I probably watched the most TV of anyone here.
Okay, is there anything else to say that's relevant? Because I
Yeah,
want to
say your character over the 4 seasons, and then
favorite character.
yeah, let's just throw it out there. Who cares?
Jess.
Tom.
Come on, be serious. Is it Jess?
I am.
serious.
No,
Tom is my
I'm asking
favorite.
HN.
I'm not-
Jess. It's 100% Jess. Okay, who's your favorite Ben? Cunt?
Tom/Kendall.
That or Rome.
So that's all we have to say about the final episodes and season of Succession. Thanks for watching and subscribe to HN Films.